Bushlight. Gene Shop batting here in the top of the fourth. 8-10. Gene Shop trailing by 2. Nice glove there in center field, but they're going to say it hit the turf. And so that'll go as a leadoff single. Tremendous effort there to lead the inning off. In the bracket, it's Resmondo Fence Brokers in one semifinal. We're at the bottom of this bracket. Dan Smith and Gene Shop looking to make it to the winner's bracket final. Lee Powers at the plate here in the top of the fourth. Nice grab there in left field by Wegman. Retiring Howard. And so that brings up Travis Lane. We haven't put out our center field camera because of the weather conditions, but as soon as they subside, we'll have that all set up for you as well. Travis Lane, bouncing ball, base hit into left field. So there's 2 aboard, and here's Earl Bryant. We talked about upsets last night. Our Facebook.com poll question, the 2010 USSSA Men's Major World Series. If we see a home run worthy of SportsCenter tomorrow, which one will it be tonight in the Home Run Derby, and who will hit it? We've been told there's a possibility that we might see a home run tonight that makes it its way onto ESPN, as Earl Bryant is going to get an RBI. Throw coming in. There's a run for Shoppe, and it's a 1-run ball game. And here is Scott Nastali. Take the first pitch inside. So the count 1-1. Chopper on the ground to second for 1. And the relay throw back to first is late, but we're tied with 2 outs here. It's 10-10. As Nastali picks up an RBI. The wind is really blowing in. That is something that could wreak havoc later tonight in the Home Run Derby. And so here's Eric Thompson. And a walk issued to Eric Thompson. Facebook poll question for you, USSSA slow pitch softball. Who's going to hit the bomb worthy of SportsCenter in the top 10 tomorrow? It's a possibility if we see one that's good enough. Jason Fisher saying he wished Rusty Bumgarner was in it because he would certainly hit some crowd pleasers. And Jamie Ward echoing those same results. Log on to Facebook.com. Become a fan of USSSA slow pitch softball. Tim Coco, last year's home run derby winner. Drawing the walk. Sean McDonald looking for a grand slam. It's gone over both walls. Here's Brad Record. Gene Shoppe with the lead. They're second of the ball game. They led 1-0 as we went to the bottom of the first. Rick Ayers asking, is the Derby still on with the delay? Yes, it is. The Derby will come at the conclusion of this one. Brad Record with a base hit. Kyle Cowart down the right field line. That'll bring up Shane Hatfield. Some projections on Facebook.com. GFC Bats rooting for Shoppe by 2. Steve Ricketts believing that Smith will win with the wind blowing in by 8. We'll see if we can get that center field flag. It's been going on and off as far as how heavy the wind's been blowing in. And right now, it's blowing in lightly, but there have been some big gusts over 20 miles an hour for sure tonight. And unfortunately, there just hasn't been the crowd that we normally see on this night. It's probably because of the rain. We apologize if you're trying to follow this game on PointStreak.com. Apparently, the Canadians have decided to do site maintenance right now in the middle of this big game between Gene Shoppe and Dan Smith. Hatfield into left field. It's 15-10. So Gene Shoppe's lead is 5 with Dan Bean at the plate. And Bean keeps it alive. We have runners on the corners. We'll see whether we can grab DW. Next inning, bottom of the 4th, with Rick Robertson doing his work. I know DW just trying to get you some great pictures. He's been sharing those with us on our Facebook.com site. We'll try to post some from the morning that he collected as well. And a walk is going to load the bases. So Travis Lane trying to go for it all. Going off the end of the bat into the stands. And Travis Lane, did he get enough of this one? And it's played well. And tracked down by Wegman. That retires the side. Gene Shoppe strands the maximum, but they're up by 6 after they scores 8 runs in the top of the 4th.
I got a couple road bikes too. Pampers, Michael Wayne. I know. He called him Pampers. So all his Pampers was. Pampers used to work here with us, and he got a fan from here.
Hey, Squirrel. Hey, you'll play the game right here with nobody on.
Ramsey's a good kid on his part, but he takes a lot of decisions that are not his decisions, and he got in trouble for that.
Rick Baker starting things off. We're in the bottom of the 4th. And that one hit into left field. We're joined now with DW, softballcenter.com. Is that correct?
Season there and at the end of September. It's coming along pretty good. We do reports on there, stats, lots of pictures, video clips. And, you can see most, I think, 15 or 16 tournaments that I covered this season. I'll cover the World Series, so the report will be out next week. And then I'm actually probably shouldn't talk ASA here, but I will be at the ASA next week as well, covering that tournament. So
Well, I think overall the softball fans are proud that you're doing what you're doing, just trying to keep them informed. And it's something you do for the love,
Right.
and certainly not for the money.
Right. I haven't really made any money at it, but I've had some good sponsors. U-Trip has helped me out quite a bit this year, getting me to the tournaments, so I appreciate that.
And you got the hat on right now, Down to Earth Sports.
Down to Earth Sports, one of my main sponsors. They sell bats and sporting goods equipment. And they're actually playing right now. Gene Shoppe is partially sponsored by Down to Earth Sports.
There you have it. So far, what are your thoughts here in the 2010 Men's Major? Any big surprises for you?
I mean, the big surprise would be if Rosmondo or Dan Smith could lose, and here's our best opportunity right here with Gene Shoppe taking a lead. Looks like 6 runs through the raindrops. 16-10.
Just been one of those nights with the rain. You know, maybe it stopped the flow that we saw. Dan Smith seemed like they had a real good thing going.
Right.
As we see Thede fly out into the corner. Ballpark has just enough.
And
it's
the
a
crowd.
1-2-3 innings. Can you believe that?
Right, and the crowd's getting behind, I think, the upset chance here.
Of course, coming up next at 7 o'clock, we have the Home Run Derby. What do you think about that one?
I'd like to see a list of Home Run Derby hitters. Do you have one?
Yes, I do.
I actually haven't seen it, but I think our favorite is Tim Coco, who won it last year. He's a lefty, and the wind's kind of been pushing the ball towards the right field corner.
We're going to go to Conference USSSA. We go
it's the top
to statistics, and it's
so
the
many
top
hitters.
12 that are in. So we got Greg Connell, B.J. Falk, Sam Lopez, Wallace, Coco, who you mentioned your favorite, Geno Buck, Andy Purcell, Bryson Baker, Brian Wegman, Brett Helmer, Adam Rockoff, and Dal Beggs.
All right. Yeah, I think you have to go with Coco as a favorite. He's consistent. He led the nation in, I think, home run frequency. So he's your favorite, but B.J. Falk should be right there. Believe it or not, Bryson Baker, he actually won the Derby a number of years ago hitting the ball to right field, even though he's a right-hand hitter. He won the Derby hitting it out of right field. So he can play the wind as well. But I would say B.J. Falk or Coco. I'm going to pick Coco.
Well, we got our first question for you from our USSSA Slow Pitch Softball page on Facebook. Keith just probably writing in a comment. He just plays in the E-tournament there, and he has to talk about how sick these guys are, quote unquote. So much power.
Right. I mean, all these guys have the technique. They have the bat speed, which is generated by the hip rotation, the using the lower part of the bat with the hand-over-hand grip. And a lot of practice is probably what, not to mention their size and strength.
Well, a lot of these guys that we get to see, we see great fielding.
Right.
A lot of them former college players, former Major League Baseball players, some of them camping out in the minor league system for a number of years. As we say, Earl Bryant leading things off here in the 5th.
Yeah, majority of these guys definitely have a college baseball background, and probably half of them have a minor league background as well. Brian hit that one pretty good.
Look at that one off the left field wall. There's a double, and Gene Shoppe continues to impress.
Shoppe's got a shot here. I think the break obviously was in their favor with the momentum. I was actually at the start of the game back on the other field. AJS was playing Suncoast, and AJS was beating Suncoast 3-0 in the second when the games got delayed. I don't see any lights back there to the right where their field is, so I think that game
got something out there.
I think it got delayed. So
Nastali got under that one. This should be out number 1. GSC Bats mentioning that he likes your picks. He thinks that Folk can drive him out low and maybe take the wind out of it. We've mentioned tonight the wind really has been gusting in. It's on and off.
It is gusting in. You would think that would affect the left-hander, but it might just push it foul, if anything, but it does seem to still carry to the right corner.
Well, we've seen a number of home runs get over that second fence. I don't know whether we've mentioned this to you, but I was told earlier that ESPN testing out their ball tracking software tonight, that it's a possibility. They said if we see a monster home run, maybe one over 500, that we might see it tomorrow on the top 10 plays of the week.
That would be great for softball. Any exposure we can get, The Bumgardner home run a couple months ago at the USA game, that got a lot of exposure. That's the Helmer wall out there, the yellow wall. That's what they call it because he's hit so many bombs there.
So he might be the guy that we'll see hit it over that second wall.
Helmer could hit it. Seeing some lightning out there now.
Here's Tim Coco, last year's winner at the plate. So who do you think can do it outside of Helmer that might be able to get that 500 home run?
Falk, Coco, someone like Geno Buck. The wind wasn't coming in the direction it's coming in.
Tim Coco under this one. Will it be playable? That's the question. The wind almost blowing it into the stands. I'll stick with you in between this inning. 17-10 our scores. We head to the bottom of the fifth. Bob Castillo wants to ask, what's your take on EWS? Didn't seem like they showed like they had it most of the year.
Right. EWS has played stadiums pretty good this year. Some big upsets. They won the A conference. But they came in here off of a bad tournament at the B, and they're missing a lot of their power. Tommy Thompson didn't come. Dustin Palm is hurt. So instead of having 4 big hitters, basically every other batter in their lineup, they only had 2 of their power hitters. And I don't know, that and just a bad weekend for them.
And John talking about what type of balls they're using. Of course, it's Dudley Stadium.
Stadium ZN.
Can email Wendy at USSSA.com if you're looking to get some of those balls in your contest. Of course, Dudley'd love to help you out, the official ball supplier for USSSA.
Right. And the players love those balls because they break in the bats faster because they're harder. So
there you have it. And it seems like a lot of the talk over the years, there's been some complaints and some name calling back and forth about the bats. But it seems like overall USSSA has done a really good job now of almost curbing that entirely.
Right. The bat testing at the Worlds has been exceptional. You don't hear anyone complaining with the garbage can testing. That's what I call it, because they keep the bats.
Garbage can testing.
Right.
Yeah, they do.
They keep the bats in the garbage can so that they can wheel them off the field and put them in storage between games so they don't have to retest all the time.
Geno Buck leading things off in the bottom of the fifth. Got a light rain falling. And I'll tell you, there's a couple people that are happy about the garbage can testing as well. David Evall, certainly Steve Salucci that works in the national office, as we see Buck get a home run. A nice catch there in the bullpen by the security officer. He brought his glove tonight.
Seeing a little bit of lightning out there now.
Hopefully it will stay far enough away. It needs to stay 8 miles away for us to continue to play.
Yeah. I'd like to see it cut down about 2 miles maybe within eyesight.
Tyler Newell saying that Cannell's going to hit the Sports Center shot and Falk's going to take the Derby. James mentioned these guys are the best of the best. Why have they abandoned the base hitting mentality, DW?
I mean, here it's unlimited home runs. You can free swing, but I think it's really only your major teams, Smith and Rismondo, that have abandoned the base hitting. Everybody else is still trying to get the hits in between. Dan Smith's hit a lot of home runs this weekend. Denny Crine at the plate. Someone was asking earlier if he was hurt. Obviously, he's good enough to play. He gets a double.
Couple more questions coming through. Man, you are a popular guy. We could keep you on the rest of the night, it seems like.
Nah.
Keith mentioning that he uses a Mikan MV1. What type of bats are favored with the players on the field? We got 2 questions about that.
Right. As far as models of bats, that's not something I pay a lot of attention to. I do pay attention to Easton is sponsoring the Gene Shop team in the field. Dan Smith, actually, they're not sponsored by any one bat company this year. They have a number of players that are sponsored, TPS and
seems like Jeremy Eisenhower, he likes his bat.
Eisenhower's 6th, I think. home run of the tournament, so he might even lead the tournament.
We have that on our point streak, but believe it or not, the Canadians are doing site maintenance during this game. Up, it's back now.
I was down there for a little bit. So the stat package is back up for those diehards at home.
It's really been a phenomenal tool. We just go click on leaders.
Yep. I'm going to say Eisenhower's the home run leader with 6 if they've updated that quickly.
They may not have this game set up yet. They have 4 for Eisenhower and Johnny Dykes of Suncoast so far with 5.
Right, Eisenhower, that's his second of the since we
6.
restarted. So. And Dykes, yeah, he didn't hit one back there on the backfield when I was there. So he's still at the number that you said, 4 or 3. Base hit for Robbins.
DW, a question for Greg Jones. How do you feel about the officiating? Some people think that the strike zone is different when you're pitching to a major player. I can ask you this since we don't have Rick Robertson on the air.
All right. I think the conference umpire idea is the best thing softball's seen in a long time. These guys are great umps. They love the game, and they're the best in the business. As far as teams getting calls, I lean a little bit towards the higher seeded team seems to get the calls. An A team does get a few calls over a B team. A major team does get a few calls over an A. But I don't think that's any different than any other sport.
Because we'd likely see, if you watch Major League Baseball, see Sabathia sometimes getting a couple inches off the plate if he's having a great night.
Greg Maddox, when he was hot, he had that inch or two on the outside of the plate that nobody else got, you know. And it's star power, and Resmondo and Dan Smith have a little bit more of that. I'm not saying it's right or intentional, because I don't think it is. I think that's just human nature.
Here's Wegman, 17-13. Dan Smith trying to work their way back in this one. In some ways, we got a funny comment from GSC Bats. He says, seriously, why are people parked in right field? And that's only ironic because we have a cameraman up here in the booth that parked his Mustang in right field. And I'm not sure what home run dented it. But we got George Gonzalez here from All Pro Collision, one of the best in Osceola County. I think he's going to take care of him. Here's Brian Wegman. He is going to make it 17-14.
Yeah, if you haven't learned not to park over there, you're just asking for it, I think. Especially this year. Seems to be a little bit more home runs than the average.
Dan, trying to ask you about the Huskers. Is that your team or
no?
Against the Huskers?
Huskers?
Probably Nebraska, I'm assuming.
All right, if we're talking college football, I've been locked into this softball stuff for the last few weeks so much I think I've watched one game.
They are playing tomorrow.
I'm an Ohio State fan, Buckeyes all the way.
Are you?
Yep.
Last question coming up, Ron and Natalie Jones asking DW the question, and it's something that I can help answer as well. Why don't they bat test at all levels like they do in the major? And I'll let you go first, and then I'll try to add some input that I know as well.
I'm going to say right now, if you have 500 teams down here, women's, men's, it looks like a base hit by Theed off of the infielder's leg there. When you have this many teams, I think USSSA has so many employees going in so many directions right now. The manpower it would take to test 500 teams' bats. I don't know if there's an answer to be able to do that.
I would agree. The problem right now is it's a logistics issue. There really is only
How many parks are they playing at this weekend?
We got, I thought that we were told that it's almost 40, 45 fields that they're playing on all throughout Central Florida. We're talking about, you know, the manpower that you need would be impossible. Rick Baker, how about that for a shot?
Baker's hit some nasty home runs. He could be a player if he's in the Derby, but I'm not sure he made the Derby.
So I think right now, to answer your question, it's kind of a logistics problem. The other issue is how expensive it is to make a compression testing machine.
Right.
David Evall is working right now on trying to make that problem go away. If we could come out with a machine where you could test bats for a couple $100 all over the place. That
Right.
might make it simple, but right now you got to take a machine that costs multiples of thousands of dollars. I'm pretty sure that we only have 2 in our office, and it'd just be impossible to test that many
Right.
teams' bats.
Right, and the testing machine has to hold its calibration, which it doesn't do when it travels well. So there's all those problems involved.
Look at David. He must be on his iPhone or something. He says that they moved the AGS Suncoast game to the field with the lights as we see J.D. Genter pop this one up. Long run. What a grab.
Great catch.
Oh, my goodness. But he
Oh.
dropped it at the end. But that was a heck of an effort out there in center field.
Kyle Cowart. If they're playing on the one with lights, that's interesting. I thought they had a pitcher's mound on there, but maybe it doesn't.
A question coming from Steve Ricketts. Where's Matt King?
Matt King, I want to say he was back by the 400-foot sign in the game the other night, and he leaped for the ball, and his foot got caught under the fence. So I'm guessing here, but I think he came out of the game at that point, twisted ankle or some kind of ankle problem.
Got Casey McKenzie going up against and trying to add the OH so we can let you add the IO.
Hopefully
And I'll
they
tell
won
you,
this
and
weekend.
Casey, that I was in Arizona for the national championship game
Oh,
last time
nice.
you guys were there.
Nice. It's one of
But I
the
was wearing orange and blue.
one of the great games of all time.
So tell us a little more before we let you go. We'll let you go at the end of this inning because I know you got plenty of work to get back to. Just about Softball Center, your website, and what you look to do to try to grow it.
Right, we're just looking for consistent, really hits on the website, to draw sponsorship. Sponsorship's going to go directly into my travel fund. So the more people just visit, check out all the pages on the major players, the pictures, the video clips, the reports. Tomorrow from 8 a.m. until you guys take over at what time do you think you're going to take over tomorrow?
3 o'clock will start.
So from 8 to around 3, I'll broadcast. I'll put up a link on the website, softballcenter.com, and I'll broadcast the loser bracket games that are on the field.
And we'll try to see if we can put a link on Facebook as well to your website so that people can know that.
Right. I usually post on Old Scout, and I'll start posting here on the Facebook all the reports when they come out. Usually takes me about a day after I get home to get the report out there. So there's a little bit of a delay there, but most of that time spent traveling, and then I have to go to work on Monday morning. So, it's usually late Monday before the report's done.
Denny Crine, 17-17. We got a heck of a ball game right here. 2 questions coming up. We'll first start with Glenn Davis. How often do you travel throughout the year?
Right. I think this year, I want to say this is my 16th tournament, and I have one more on the schedule, so looks like 17 weekends out of the year. And there's another question here. Dick Bennett says, do you see there being more than 2 true major teams in the future? I think we're going to see that next year. GTL is talking major. Of course, we got Dan Smith. Rismondo is 3. And Team Combat is talking major possibly. Although with the injury to Rusty, I haven't heard for sure whether they've decided to go major. But it looks like 4 next year.
And I think that would be certainly good for the game. There was certainly an interesting story that came out in some type of business journal that just talked about how many major teams there used to be.
Right.
As we see Crine here at the plate. And
Bases
unfortunately,
loaded.
the businesses just don't get the tax break that they used to, or else I'm sure we'd see a lot more.
That's interesting because I forgot about the tax break that they used to get, and that was a huge reason that those guys were able to do what they were able to do. Hey, you got Denny Crine with the bases loaded here. 1 out and the game tied.
Base hit into center field. 2 runs are going to score.
Ryan's known for his power, but he got a big base hit right there.
This group from Dan Smith, they never waver, do they? Even when from behind.
At the end of the season here, they've been the team to beat last 2 months for sure.
David Core asking, will the players in the home run derby use their regular bats or loaded bats like the long haul bombers? And I'm believing they're using the regular bats tonight.
I believe they're supposed to use the regular bats. You know, whether they actually pull them out of the can, I would think no, you know. So I don't think they're going to test them, though, so we might see some bombs.
Jeremy Eisenhower walking and the bases loaded. Ricketts mentioning if the AJS game was moved, what the dimensions are of that field. To be honest with you, it's pretty far away from us.
Right, and the dimensions back there, I'm going to say, are about the same as this stadium. 335 down the line, 385 to the gap, and 400 to center. Fences are a little higher back there, maybe 15 feet high.
Because this facility basically used to train the Braves. For those of you that have never been down here to ESPN Wide World of Sports,
right?
It's pretty amazing to think that they filled this place for spring training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be nice to see. They the fields in the back they're definitely not smaller than the stadium. They could be larger.
Got a question from Roger Foster. Can AJS Mike folks compete next year, NA? Or what position do they need to improve, do you see?
AJS, as they are, could compete with the exact team that they have, but from what I've heard, half of their team is going to get spread across the country, basically. But that doesn't mean they can't reload. There's a lot of talent out there. I think that's what will happen. So we still have the bases loaded, 1 out, 2-run lead for Dan Smith. And is that Robbins? Ryan Robbins at the plate.
Yeah, Psycho Ryan Robbins, I'm told.
Yeah,
with those high socks. That's a good look for you. You might be able to walk around like that.
No, I got the low socks. Bases loaded, though.
Keith adding in that the officiating excellent in the tournament. Chris Stallings saying that he knows last week in the B that the only the winners bracket had a conference ump. The losers bracket just had officials all from over the lower worlds. And I think that that's an issue that you see in every league, including sometimes the officiating not as good in the NCAA as you'd see in the NBA, just because it's just a number of percentages. If you look at the percentile, there's only so many people that are going to be a high-level official.
If you look at it, the conference umps, that would be like 11 days. They would have to be away from their family and away from their job to do 2 weekends in a row like that. So that's a tough thing to do. The officiating was pretty good at the B. I wouldn't call it bad. And some of the umpires are definitely in line to become conference umps that were there. It wasn't terrible. I know there were a few calls that were tough. And McCollum hits it deep to center, but he's out. Whoop.
So
almost looked like he dropped it there for a second.
10 runs scored there for Dan Smith. DW, thanks for spending some time with us.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for sharing the pictures. Hopefully we'll get you back on maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll come back tomorrow night maybe for the big game.
Sounds good. Thanks
but
so much.
Everybody tune in 8 a.m.
softballcenter.com.
To 3. I'll have the link on softballcenter.com, and then U-Trip will take over the coverage from 3 until 11. Whenever you guys get out of here. So
seems like we're midnight every night, so that would be my guess.
Right, this one's going to be late here, too. So thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Yep.
Have a great night. DW with us. We head to the 6th. It's 2017. Gene Shoppe trailing Dan Smith. We are in quite a ball game.
Hey, this is Brett Helmer with Easton Sports.
I'm Brian Wegman with Easton Sports.
Getting ready to drop some bombs with the 09 Easton bat line.
The truth is, there is a difference.
The difference is Easton. The truth is, I hit bombs.
USSSA is the largest multi-sport athletic association in the world. Headquartered in beautiful Osceola County, Florida, USSSA has now grown to 3.7 million members, competing in 14 sanctioned sports. From fast-pitch softball, basketball, taekwondo, and golf to being one of the largest youth baseball programs in the country, USSSA has a sport for you. Log on to USSSA.com to find out how you can take part.
Play the best and play USSSA.
Brad Reckert coming to the plate. Of course, we certainly appreciate DW checking in with us. And for all those that do not know, log on to softballcenter.com. He does a phenomenal job, travels around. And it's great to support somebody like that that's supporting a game that obviously you guys enjoy if you're watching tonight. Travels around the country. And is just trying to get you guys some information. McDonald on first. Here's Brad Reckert. And Roger wanted to know, do we have the score from the AGS Suncoast game? And the answer is I can find out, and I'll try to get that for you as soon as we can. We'd love to put that one up on live stats. We just can't logistically. The live stats, by the way, has been brought back on m.pointstreak.com and pointstreak.com. You can find the link from USSSA.com. Kyle Cowart at the plate. Oof. Certainly a mistake there in the infield for Eisenhower. Bobbled it at first, able to recover and get the out. There's one away. And there's runners on the corners. For Shane Hatfield. And Hatfield, did he get under that one too much? Wegman making the play. Runner will tag and score. Where is he? There he is. And so here's Dan Bean. And an RBI single. Cuts the lead to 1. Here's Lee Powers. And we have runners on the corners. Lane grounding into a fielder's choice. Side retired. It remains a 1-1 ball game as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Dan Smith leading by a run, looking to advance to the winner's bracket final. Wegman leaving things off. Down the left field line. That one turned foul. Wegman straightening it out that time. Helmer warming up for the home run derby. That's over 2 walls. Wow. We need Matt to upgrade our scoreboard on the top of the screen. It's 23-19. Chris Stalling mentioning he can't wait till the October 9th for the Cincinnati Super Draft. Genter lining out. October 9th at the Mid-American Ballpark Yard. Get a chance to play with Wegman, Spicer, Hatfield, and the rest of the big leaguers. And so that brings up Brian Thiede. Hot shot for Thiede. There's a base hit. Geno Buck. This should be out number 2, and it is. Denny Crine. Off the right field wall. Bean, no chance to make that play. Dan Smith has a 24-19 lead. And here's Jeremy Eisenhower. Eisenhower, 24-19. We got a poll question coming your way. Stephanie with us. What question would you like to ask what player in our post-game interview here on USSSA Live? We'll add that on. So log on. If we get a couple responses for the same thing, we'll have Stephanie ask that question. Rachel not with us tonight. I think she's out at City Walk. Celebrating a friend's 21st birthday. Ryan Robbins flying out. Inning over. Dan Smith taking the lead. We head to the 7th. It's 24-19. Joel, I'm sorry. No Rachel. Turning off the computer. I think you'll be equally excited about having Stephanie down there asking the questions. As we see Scooter Nasali with a base hit. Roger Foster looking for the score. Maybe I'll send Tom, can you go find out? There's a halted score out there for the AJS game. Can you find out what it is right now? Because it's not live on PointStreak.com. Steve, we'd like to have any question that we're going to talk about be talking about this game. That's the most important thing for us. So right now we have Dennis Sawyer ask Gino Buck, what's the most strikeout he's thrown in one game? That's what Dennis wants to know. We'll add that in. Anybody else have any questions that we can send down? All right, we have an update for the scores. We see Tim Coco trying to get warmed up for the home run derby. This one's going to clear one fence and bounce into the parking lot. It's HAS 3-0. What inning are we in, Tom? In the bottom of the second. And I almost believe that somehow that game's going to move here. Not right away, but probably after, I'm assuming, a home run derby in Respondo.
Probably tomorrow morning.
And the game actually, we're told, likely going to be played tomorrow morning here in the stadium. Couple of questions coming through. Steve Ricketts saying, Wegman, how do you like owning your own ballpark with your best friend? And Brandon Swanek, how many major players or professional sports athlete, and what amount is the average softball pro player, what is the average amount of softball a pro player plays before becomes a major player? So there's a couple of questions we'll have her write down. May have her grab Wegman right now. Would be a great interview. Brad Record, 2 away. Brad Record. There's a base hit. Inning stays alive. Gene Chops brought in 2. 24-21. And Joel, yes, she'll likely be as good as Rachel. There are no Aaron Andrews or Jen Brown yet. With the emphasis on yet, Kyle Cowart. Was wrapped around by my car. We might have to call George Gonzalez again. We might have 2 cars headed to the shop. And Roger, no, I'm sorry, I don't have a list of the guys hitting in round 1, and no, they are not all major players. And Jimmer, we'll try to find out who is the longest hit of the night so far, home run wise, or the tournament. Kyle Coward flying out. Dan Smith advancing. They'll make it to the winner's bracket final tomorrow night. It's a final here, 24-21. Gene Chop with a tremendous effort. They scored 8 runs in the top of the 4th. Coming up next, the home run derby. We're going to head down to the field where Rick Robertson is going to join us for that. And, of course, in the post-game interviews, we got a couple of questions from Facebook.com that they're going to ask Wegman if they can get a hold of him. So tomorrow night, Dan Smith is going to come in. They'll be in the winner's bracket final. The only question left is we're trying to find out who will they play. Stand by, hopefully, for Brett Helmer. And the home run derby coming your way shortly. And the 2010 USSSA Men's Major presented by Busch Light.
Yeah. There we go. Almost showtime. Got the guys trying to line up over here with Larry Austin. I'm with Sherry from Disney. Hello, everyone. Great to see you tonight. Who's ready for the home run derby? It's going to take us a few minutes to get set up. But once we do, we have the best home run hitters in the country, Jerry. It's pretty exciting, actually. On a night when we have this much rain, we got some of the guys from Kirby.
How's this exciting with the rain?
All right, it looks like Stephanie has tracked down Wegman. They're on their way over for the interview. You can see the rain continuing to fall.
Got it. Tell Bernie, get Bernie and
Tell him I'm ready.
and this guy wants to know the average amount of softball Oh, sorry, wait. What's your first name?
Ryan.
Okay. Okay, I'm here with Brian Wegman of Dan Smith, and they just won their game against Shoppe. How do you feel about the win tonight?
Very good. I'm glad we got it in with the rain, so I'm very happy with the win.
We opened up our Facebook tonight to fans to submit their own questions, so we have a couple fan questions for you. First, Steve Ricketts wants to know how you like owning your own ballpark.
Oh, I love it. It's almost a dream job for a softball guy, softball guru anyway. The only thing I wish is, or you'd think you could take plenty of batting practice, but it's a lot of work. But yeah, overall I love it.
Okay, and then Brandon Swanak wants to know what the average amount of softball a person plays before becoming a major player.
Man, that's a tough question because I've seen guys play 1 year and wind up in the majors. It's more about putting your work in and hopefully getting seen by the right guys.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Home Run Derby coming your way. We're going to send it down to Rick Robertson and give you the feed of the stadium here coming up in a second. So listen in. I apologize to some of you that are not going to be as big of a fans of the music, but we're going to give you the stadium feed that's going to have the microphones that you can hear inside the stadium as well.